Okay, this is going to be part 3 of our video series, how to get your Merchant Marine credential, how to find jobs after you do get it. Okay, we covered a lot of stuff so far. My main website, your drug test facilities and how to find them, how to pay your fees online. We covered the TWIC. Now first of all, we're going to go to Homeport. That is a Coast Guard website. And I will show you, here we are back at the NMC site. So we're going to go back to Homeport. And that link is also on the page. Now, this is Homeport. This is a Coast Guard website. And this is another very busy website. And you really got to pay attention to find your way around here. So I'm going to show you how to do it real quickly. You're going to go down this left-hand side over here. And you're going to see Merchant Mariners. So you're going to click on this, and what you're going to do is you're going to check the status of your application. You've sent it into the Coast Guard, you're wondering where it's at, how it's going. Right now, with things being the way they are for an entry-level credential, from the time you mail it in to the Coast Guard, trusting that all your paperwork is in order, you're probably looking at anywhere from 2 to 3 or 4 weeks till you receive your credential in the mail. And as I said, they will mail it out to you. You don't have to pick it up. So we went down this left side to Merchant Mariners. We're going to go to Merchant Mariner application status. And we're going to see what's going on with our status. So you'll put your last name in. You'll put the last 4 digits of your Social Security. You'll choose your date of birth, month, day, and year, and click Go. Now, it will bring up a page and tell you exactly where your application is in the process. Okay, if it's in transit, that means that it's being mailed from the REC that you mailed it to down to West Virginia. Then it will be ready to be evaluated. It will be being evaluated. It'll be for review. Then it goes down, approved to print. Then it gets printed. Then it gets issued and mailed out to you. Now if it shows issued, and say it's been 3 or 4 weeks since it shows this on the date, because it'll give you the date that it was issued, and you still haven't received it, you're going to have to call and find out what's going on, because they probably got the wrong address in the computer or something like that. Now if it says awaiting info, that means you're going to get a letter from them, and it usually will tell you what they're waiting for in the computer. If you forgot to put the drug test in there, or if you forgot to put the physical in, or something like that, you'll be delayed. So you want to make absolutely sure you got everything in order so it goes as smoothly as possible and there's no delays. Because the longer it takes, the longer it's going to be before you can go to work. So that's the situation when you go in to look at the status of your application. And you will do that at Homeport. Alright, we're going to go back to my page, or my website, and I'm going to show you something on the STCW. What is the STCW? The STCW is actually a certificate that you can get, but you have to have certain training to get it. Why would you need it? Okay, here's why you need it. Anyone who sails on a ship that goes outside of the boundary lines of the U.S., which would be in the ocean, needs to be STCW qualified. Now that stands for Standards, Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping. It's not as complicated as it sounds. If you're going to be on a tanker that goes to the Middle East, or a container ship that goes to Asia or Europe, you must be certified under STCW, even at the entry-level rating. Now, if you're entry-level and you just have OS, you won't actually get an STCW certificate. But what you will have to do is you will have to take 4 classes. And you can write this down, BSTs, Basic Safety Training. You'll have to take those 4 classes, and they include 4 elements: personal survival techniques, fire prevention and firefighting, elementary first aid, personal safety, and social responsibility. Once you take those 4 classes, you are qualified under STCW to sail on ocean-going vessels. Now, if you sail on a towing vessel in the Mississippi River pushing barges, you don't need it. If you're on one of these ore freighters like this up in the Great Lakes, you do not need it. It is only for deep sea sailing, deep sea as they call it. And these classes can be expensive. They can run anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on where you want to take them. So if you've got the entry-level ratings and you want to be able to open more options for jobs, I would highly recommend taking this if you can afford to. If you can afford to take the classes, definitely take them. And you will keep these 4 certificates in your briefcase with you at all times. You will carry those on the vessel because you won't get an STCW in your little passport style MMC book. You're just going to carry your certificates with you. Higher rating people, when you go up to AB or to oiler in the engine room, then this will be on your actual inside your credential book, so you don't have to carry these certificates. But just the entry level, like wiper, steward's department, or OS, ordinary seaman, you'll carry these certificates with you. Now I'm going to show you how you find a school. Now if you take these classes, they have to be done at a Coast Guard approved course or school, and we'll take a look at how you do that. We're going to go back to the National Maritime Center website. Okay, here we are, and right here down the side you see approved courses. So you click on that, and that will take you to the National Maritime Center approved courses, and they're all over the country. So we'll click here to search for one. Find a school. Alright, I want to take the BSTs. So there's my zip code, 33948. I don't want to travel any more than 500 miles. Now they will take about a week for these courses, so you're going to have to stay at the school. Some schools have facilities for you to stay at, some don't. You'll have to stay in hotels. So I'm willing to travel up to 400 miles. In this blue section here, you'll select the course that you want to take. We're going to look for basic safety training right here, BSTs, basic safety training. So we've got that in there. You don't put an address because you don't know where you're to put in there anyways. You don't know what city. I do know that I want to take them in Florida. So I've got my zip. I don't want to go any farther than 500 miles. I want to take the BSTs, and I want to take them in Florida. Click go. This will bring up all the schools in Florida within 500 miles where I can take them. Now, as it turns out, there's one right here in Cape Coral, 31 miles from my house, because I live in Port Charlotte. So that's not too bad. Here's one over in Fort Lauderdale, Dania Beach, that's on the East Coast, up in Jacksonville, and Panama City up in the Panhandle. Excuse me. So that's all of them in this state of Florida. Let's take a look at Louisiana. I know there's quite a few of them up there, actually. Excuse me very much, I'm sorry. Let's take a look. I got my zip, I got my 500 miles, Louisiana. Oops, I forgot to choose a course. Please select a course. It took it out of there when I looked at the last one. So we'll take BSTs. We'll put that in here again. Basic safety training. Go. Okay, again it's giving me the ones in Florida. That's within 500 miles. Now, everything over 500 miles away from me, it will give me all these different course sites here. There's a Louisiana, up in Virginia and Maryland, St. Louis, Kings Point, New York, up in Maine, all over the place, California. If I'm willing to travel over 500 miles, there's a lot more options. And the cost of taking one someplace else might be worth the travel. depending on how much it is. You'll have to call these schools. You just click on one. Let's take this one over in Fort Lauderdale and see what it brings up. And it gives you a map and gives you the address. I'm not seeing a phone number for them. Oh yeah, here we are. Resolve Maritime Academy 877. So you can call them and see how much is this going to cost me to take this. And you know, you figure what it's going to cost you to stay in a motel if they don't have facilities for you to stay. So that's how you find an approved course, and they have to be Coast Guard approved to take the BSTs or any other courses that you want to take. And if you're going to sail deep sea, like I said, you will need to do that. Okay, before we end part 3 and go into part 4, we're going to kind of recap what we went through here. You know my main website. You got your drug test taken care of. You got Homeport, where you can look up the status of your credential while it's being processed, if you're wondering. You got the National Maritime website that you can call for any questions. And you got pay.gov, where you can submit your payment online if you like. We covered the TSA site and the TWIC card, why you need it, how you get it, what it's going to cost you. And we covered all the approved courses. If you want to take courses, how you find a school that's Coast Guard approved, to call them, find out what it's going to cost, etc. Now I'm going to go through a couple of these websites here, and then we're going to get into all the ones to look for work. So let's go back to my site. And this is going to come under the category of looking for work, basically. There are ads all over my website. Now this one here, Crowley, this is a Google ad. Crowley is a pretty big company. Looking for a maritime career, then Crowley is looking for you. So you can click on this ad, it'll take you to their website, and they may tell you on the website what they're looking for, or have applications that you can fill out, or they may not. On the jobs page, same thing, more ads. Offshore oil rigs, remember, don't rule them out. Those are good jobs. And cruise ship jobs, like I said, I've never done that, but I've heard that they can be pretty good jobs. And there's a lot of entry-level ratings on there where you don't have to have any kind of education or special training. If you're going to get cruise ship jobs, you will need the STCW, because they go outside of the U.S. waters generally as a rule. So they will probably want you to have it. So that's going to conclude part 3 of the video. And then we're going to get into part 4, and we're going to go over all the links for jobs and how to look for them, how to apply for them, so you're not left hanging out there with a card and no place to find a job. Like I said, I had a lot of people that called me that just couldn't find work anywhere, and I don't know why, because I go on and search and I find all kinds of jobs for entry-level ratings. So I'm, like I said, I guess they just don't know how to look or where to look, and that's why I give you these links on here and show you, because I don't want you to be stuck in the same boat. You got a credential in your wallet or in your pocket that's worthless because you can't find work. We don't want that to happen. So that'll end part 3.